Hello and welcome to the Hustle Over Everything podcast. Actually, we need to talk about our merch. Guys, Cyber Monday's here, and we
It is
have some
here.
great merch on the website, hustleovereverything.com. Am I right?
You're so right, bro. Honestly, this is the best gear that you're gonna wear. A lot of our shirts, sweaters, hoodies are all champion gear. And guys, it's getting chilly out there. The weather's becoming a brick. And you don't want to be in your apartment, your house feeling all chilly. You gotta be strapped up with a nice cozy sweater or hoodie. Where else to look at other than hustle over everything? You're a hustler. Why not just look like one with some gear? Don't you agree, Al?
100%, man. On the website, we got some dad hats, we got some sweaters, some hoodies, some cozy gear, and it's going to be 25% off using code HustleCM. So use that at checkout, HustleCM, capitals, all caps, HustleCM at checkout, and
Mhm.
you'll be receiving 25% off. Listen, support the hustlers. Support your
Mhm.
hustlers. You feel me?
Support us, support everybody. Businesses are shut down. You can't even shop. So where else other than shop than online? And lastly, we didn't speak about the mugs, the stickers you can get for your laptops. Everything is 25% off, guys. The delivery, you're gonna get your uh, products in a prompt manner, right at your doorstep, ready to be worn, ready to be pasted on your laptop. The mug ready for that hot cup of brew as you're ready for your grind. But guys, man, hustle CM today at hustleovereverything.co.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
You ready, fam?
I was born ready, Alex Thurgood Whitfield.
You gotta take me with the full govy, fam. You gotta take me with the full govy.
I've been loving your middle name like recently. Like I sat back and I was like, "Rah, this guy's name is Thurgood." Do you know how legendary that is?
Yeah, shout out to my moms for that one. Cause
Yeah.
I used to get made fun of in school because people thought I was like, it was weird. It's a weird name. It's like, oh, Third Good Thursday. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Mm,
They just would make fun of it. Then
no,
like I had to deep, the history behind it.
it has a lot of weight on it. It's a very strong name, Thurgood. Like it exudes strength to me.
To you.
Yeah, to me when I think about Thurgood, I'm like, that's a very boss name, like Thurgood.
Would you name your child Third Good?
Absolutely.
Really?
100%.
After having the name, there's no way I'd name my child Third Good. Because there was so much like ridicule that happened, and I feel like people were so like confused by it.
Uh Man, I'm sorry you went through that, but I think it's a very it's powerful. It's a power
Interesting.
name. Yeah, to me. So to my future missus, one of our sons will be named Thurgood. They'll have
One
Thurgood in
of.
their name.
Yeah, you're trying to create a football team, ain't you?
Bro, I'm
My
trying to
guy said
create
one of.
a starting. The thing, I was at a vision, man. I was like, imagine, like, I'm coming from my family, like, we're a big family. So I always wanted a big family. I do want sons and daughters, but I do want, like, to play 2-on-2 with my boys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, in the backyard, just hooping. Not that the girls can't join in, but, like, of course, like, when you're being physical, like, you don't want to, like, hurt you don't like have like legit physical game, right? And if the
Mm.
girls are into that, then hop in. But until I've been proven otherwise, then it's gonna be like the way it is. I gotta position it to seem like I'm not being sexist. You feel me?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, yeah. You have to like you caught yourself in the minute, like, hold on, am I being sexist?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
I'm being very politician like.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, bro. Man, a squad. I hear you. Me, I'm like two max,
Two max, bro.
max.
You got to think about
One girl.
legacy, bro. Imagine the wealth we're about to make. You got to spread that among the youths. You feel me?
They can do that. They can do that. Yo, go forth and prosper. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it low. So once they out, I'm back to myself. You feel me?
You're
I'm
back
gonna
to your
be
ones,
I'm gonna
man.
be the best empty nester. Oh, for sure. For sure. Listen, Jamaica, if I Jamaica, Morocco,
Mm.
Definitely not England. Dubai, maybe. I hear good things about Dubai.
Yo,
Empty
Montenegro,
nesting,
man. Monte Carlo.
for sure, for sure.
That's where the ballers go, man. That's like where the nice sceneries are at, all the rich people are at.
No Tulum,
Not Tulum?
no Tulum.
Why?
Everybody's going to Tulum right now. It's like the stupidest trend.
That's a
Like, oh,
thing. That's like
it's a big thing right now. Everybody's
that's a
like,
big
oh, I'm going to
thing.
Tulum.
I'm going
I'm
to
gonna
Mexico. Ha, ha, ha.
exactly. But yo, let's get into it, man.
Yo,
Hello and welcome to the Hustle of Everything podcast. This is a podcast where you receive stories, tips, and strategies from entrepreneurs who've done it to help you grow your business and take yourself to the next level as a person. I'm Alex,
and I'm Owen.
and later today on the podcast, we have Dennis Mathu. Dennis is a consultant for a top four consultancy and a YouTuber focused on personal finances. You might have seen him on CNBC Make It, where he talks about his financial journey and how he's been able to pay off a lot of debt and how he's currently living on 87,000 US. But today we're talking about his financial journey. We're talking about his REITs, his method of saving, and his YouTube journey as well. Man, what you think of the podcast, bro?
You know, the first, like when I saw Dan and Steph, his girlfriend Steph, like they have like the brand, I was really amazed by their channel. I was amazed by how they are very prudent in the way they go on about their financial future,
Mm-hmm.
and how they're very structured in the way they think about it and the way they even create their content. I love their dynamic. So when we got in touch with him and we got on the podcast, I knew this was going to be an amazing podcast just because he has a lot of knowledge and he dropped a lot of gems on this, right? He's like, I think he one of the things that I've learned about Den is that he's charging through paying off his debt. I think this guy he's paying I think close to $1,000 a month. He's very like, I'm legit getting rid of this debt. And recently I've been thinking about that. I was like, if I spend, like, let's say I use a lot of my credit cards for spending so I can build up my credit history and, like, I can just show that. But I was like, man, if I'm paying this on my credit, why can't I just like put that towards, like, I have a student line of credit, right? So I have a student line of credit. I have about like 10K on that. I'm like, man, if I'm paying 1,000 on this, why can't I just hold out off my credit cards and just pay that $1,000 towards my credit and not accumulate interest? So that's one of the things that Dennis actually inspired me to do. So, in this episode, he talks a lot about their journey, a lot of financial instruments that people should know about and what they can dabble into. So people are in for a treat, bro.
Most definitely, most definitely. Yeah, I love how he breaks it down. And remember, one thing I liked how he covered it well is his consultancy journey. You
Hmm.
know how you got into it and advice other people could take from trying to get into it as well. So I honestly think it's a great podcast, y'all. Make sure you take notes. This is one of them ones where you're gonna have to have a notepad ready to
Hmm.
get the value that he's dropping on us. So most definitely.
Yeah, man.
And with that being said, let's hop into the business tip of the week.
Hmm.
This time around, it's Cyber Monday. So, well, before we even get into that, make sure you stop by hustleovereverything.co and support the podcast and get some of our merch. Owen's rocking the Hustle of Everything, Hustle and Float sweater right now, the champion
Hmm.
sweater.
Hmm.
I got the hat right next to me. I just took it off from my
It's
headphones, but I'm
toasty, by the
rocking
way,
the,
guys. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm rocking the Hustle of Everything hat,
Hmm.
the dad hat. Some fire gear, so go check that out. And pick up a mug too. The mugs are really good
Quality. Like,
quality.
it's a reminder, guys. It's a reminder. A lot of us are on our tables in our homes, we're working, and having a mug there that says hustle over everything, it's a constant reminder. You need to be on your grind. You need to be working. No matter what it is you're doing, you could be working at your job, but it's just a reminder to get the best out of yourself every single day before you go to bed. So the mugs are an anchor piece for your desk and kitchen.
Exactly, exactly. So, with the business tip of the week, let's talk about it. Cyber Monday is now, and coming up is Boxing Day. The Canadian Black Friday. So for that, a lot of people are going to be thinking, "Hey, for Black Friday, pardon me, Boxing Day, how can I promote my business the right way?" And one of them ways that a lot of people are going to think about is Instagram and Facebook ads. And this is my forte. This is a lot of, where I make my money. So I want to give some value there for you guys. So starting off, I know a lot of people are going to think, hey, let me just hit boost on my Instagram post and get that to as many people as I can. And first things first, do not do that. Please. That is a cherry on top. That is not the Sunday. Do not just go to your Instagram post or a Facebook post and just hit boost. I think it's going to do anything. It's not. Next, please do not think that just creating a direct sell on Facebook is going to be the magic bullet for you. You need to think about who you're targeting, what the message is for that target, and where the message will be. So, what do I mean by that? Real quick, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. For the Facebook funnel, there's awareness, which is at the top of the funnel. Mid funnel is giving value. At the bottom of the funnel is transacting, right? So make sure you know exactly who you are targeting and what the goal is with your ad. If you're strictly direct targeting for transactions at the bottom of the funnel, you need to make sure the people that are there are at the bottom of the funnel. That means you should be retargeting people who have been to your page, your website, or Instagram page itself. So Instagram page, Facebook page, website, or email list. If it's someone who hasn't, then they shouldn't be at the bottom of the funnel getting that message. Simple and plain. And if you're trying to target more audience to get net new audience, then make sure your messaging matches a net new audience. So you're not trying to meet somebody and on the first day trying to get the sale without them knowing who you are, what the product is, what the benefits are, what the value is. Make sure you're communicating that. So the business tip of the week is make sure you're communicating the right value to the right person. It doesn't even need to be Facebook ads. These make it even wider. It doesn't need to be Facebook ads. It could be on Google. It could be through email. Are you targeting the people who are the most familiar or people that are net new? And if they are in one of those brackets, make sure your messaging meets that. So your strategy meets your sales. You feel me? And that's the business tip of the week.
I feel you, bro. I feel you, man. Big month coming up. A lot of spending. Everything is shifting online. So I think every entrepreneur has to be strapped up with the tools, the content, the offers, the delivery, the experience at the end of the day, making sure your website is fast enough and goes through a proper experience from discovery towards the whole transaction. So yeah, 100% agree with everything you said, bro. So guys,
Let's go.
you know Alex Thurgood, man. You know what time it is, brother. You know what time it is, man. It's Mr. Hustle Muscle here, ready to give you the Hustle Nation tip of the week. So thinking outside of the box is the theme of today's message. And Alex, I got to bring you into this conversation as well for this segment of the show.
Okay.
We did something very unconventional yesterday, didn't we?
We definitely did.
We definitely did. And what we did, guys, is we have our newsletter, as you know, the underrated newsletter, and we wanted to promote this. And we wanted to do something unique that would get people interested and not just go with the traditional way of Facebook advertising and getting people like that. So Alex came up with the idea of let's put stickers with the QR code on it promoting the newsletter and then put it on newspaper stands across the city. So we did this yesterday. We woke up Saturday morning early in the day, went to Yonge and Dundas Square here in Toronto, and we had about 1,000 stickers cumulatively. And I brought my 500. Alex brought his 500. We thought we were gonna like bring 500 one half, but I think we both had the mentality of better safe than sorry. So I show up to the square. Alex shows up with his 500. I'm like, Rob, bro, like I thought I was the one bringing. It's like, no, bro, I thought I was. So funny thing is, we go all over the city. I take the west side, he takes the east side of Yonge, I take the west side of Yonge, and we both go do our thing. So we posted these stickers everywhere. Like, I mean, I posted them so much that I'd be walking back and it'd catch my attention. I was like, oh right, like it's a bright yellow sticker. Like you're not gonna miss it as you're walking. It says the modern business newsletter. Very captivating, makes you think about it, and what is it about this newsletter that is so modern and fresh? And the call to action is scan it, and you're gonna have access to it for free. So, Alex, question, bro, how did you feel after we did that?
I felt accomplished. After I did, I felt accomplished. I feel like at first doing it, I felt uncomfortable. I told you,
Hmm.
after I felt super uncomfortable, and I was like, wow, it's a good feeling. Going outside of your comfort zone, um, makes you feel like you're doing something different and stepping to a new level. So it felt good. Going through my mind as well was like it was like opportunity cost, you
Hmm.
know, of doing that. As an entrepreneur, you think, all right, is this the best use of my time? And honestly, I felt like it was good to actually get the experience of doing it, and out in public and seeing people watch you as you stick it on, like you're doing graffiti or something.
Hmm.
So it was really interesting to do. After I felt accomplished, I felt like I did something new, like I went,
It's
skiing or
different.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because the way I was dressed, I had my toque on, I had my black shades on, I had my puffy coat, then I had like my hood on for my coat. So I'm looking like this sketchy guy, like who's up to like some mischief. I'm putting stickers on all over the city. And then the funny thing is, I was going all around like like Dundas, a couple streets like Girard, and the cops were on bikes because like the whole anti-mask protesters were pulling up. So I'm seeing cops riding everywhere, and I'm like, shit, shit, shit. I'm about to get a ticket. I'm about to get a ticket. But these guys didn't even see me. So it was a blessing. So this is one of the things that we decided to do is think outside the box to really get a new audience, to get our word out there. Um, it's not like this has never been done before, but it's one thing that's common with it. It's pushing you towards doing things that you've not done before to really see what works. And that is a message of this week, thinking outside the box as entrepreneurs. So like talking about thinking about outside of the box, there are a couple of things that go into it, right? First and foremost is, doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing, right? So once you do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, for example, in this situation, one thing it's going to lead you is to uncover new paths that bring you closer to trailblazing new methods of doing things, such as your marketing, your execution, your product design, and etc. Second thing is you got to be open to possibilities. We did this whole sticker campaign. We don't know what's going to come out of it. We do have a call to action, but we're leaving it up to the people to be intrigued by what it is and take action on that. But this is a decision you just have to make in response to a stimulus that you have or wanting something different and wanting to change and making that action to do it, right? So one of the most difficult things about being a business owner is, one thing is you're always looking to perfect your systems. You're looking to stay staying true to what works and not wanting to mess up. Well, because there's a lot of risks. There's financial risks, you have employees, you have your reputation. There's a lot of risks that come with venturing into the unknown, but you really got to like be aware of your processes and also like being malleable in a way that can allow you to make those decisions. And if they veer off to to Mars or whatever up in the sky, and like you're trying to come back from it, there's processes in place that's going to allow you to come back and redirect that decision. Being able to think outside the box, you really got to be have you need to have clarity in your thinking. So one way to think new ideas is, what works for me personally is just being in isolation, right? There's nothing more annoying than getting your thought processes interrupted when you're trying to get your juices flowing, uh thinking about the next thing for your business. So as I spoke about last week, talk think about distractions. Put your phone on don't disturb mode, or you can put it in airplane mode or whatever, just so you eliminate the distractions that could possibly come out of like your thought process, and removing every single thing and sitting down and actually thinking and not really forcing it, but just letting the ideas come to you and seeing what you come out of just being in that meditative state. Another thing you can do is just like look at what your competitor is doing, right? So look outside of your industry at what uh, they're executing on, what are the new campaigns they're launching. So one of the things that I studied was, when I was reading Steve Jobs' book about 5 years back, by Walter Isaacson, was, he studied the way Steve Jobs came up with the design of the MacBook. So he didn't, he came up with the design by traveling to India and studying Zen culture and learning from the Indian culture with their principles and their traditions and customs and everything. And he came out of this experience with the idea of being minimalist in approaching his aura, his design, and everything. So when you're looking at your MacBook and you're looking at the lines and you're looking at the simplicity of this design, it was actually inspired by Steve Jobs traveling to places like India and being engulfed in their culture of just less is more. So the lines, the precision that you see from the MacBook, all the when you open it, when you close it, and it makes the sound of a book, all these little elements are all from that Zen way of living. The simplicity of it came from that inspiration from Steve Jobs doing these trips and also doing classes that are not business. Like, he took a typography class. So that's why you can see the MacBook font, the way it is. It's those all came from Steve Jobs doing these different classes, which he was keeping an open mind, thinking outside the box, and it all came together to impact the way Apple products are designed. So it's all great to like have all these steps and thoughts, but one framework you could start using is a 4-step framework that you can take to your business and really execute on it the way you want to think outside of the box. You can do this with everything. So step 1 is define the box, right? So when you say define the box, this is what people think about a particular subject matter. It could be anything. It could be Facebook marketing. It could be Instagram. It could be newsletter marketing. First is define the box. What is it in this box that everybody does? Make all those points in there, clarify them, see what it is. Number 2, be different, right? So accept things as they are. Don't change the way the things are. Accept the way things are and make that decision to go beyond that in a different direction. Number 3, do the new thing. So whatever idea you get from being different, doing all this thinking is useless unless you can make the direction you want, take the direction you want and execute on it. So make that decision to execute and seeing how it goes. Number 4, from the feedback you get from step 3 of doing the new thing, reiterate and pivot. So learn from your market. If you're proven wrong, just don't give up. Simply just press on forward, because with what you learned and what you're experiencing, that's new knowledge gained that no one else can learn because they didn't take that step. And once you keep doing that, you have a higher chance of succeeding next time. And it's certainly important not to quit when you get setbacks, just because it's a whole learning process. But once you have that solidified process of the new step, now you're seen as a thought leader. Now you're seen as like a trailblazer in marketing or design and etc. And everybody starts copying you because you were the one who decided to do something different. So 4-step process: define the box, be different, do the new thing that is new, and reiterate. And lastly, just keep pivoting until you master the process. And this should break out new ideas for you in different parts of your business. And this is like the heart of innovation, is trying these different steps and, allowing yourself to stand away from the crowd. So guys, that is the Hustle Nation tip of the week. Let's get this week. Let's set up our businesses for success for the holidays. And let's get this bag. Let's get this bag, guys. We're definitely working on getting this bag, and we are getting this bag out. We are definitely getting this bag.
Big facts. Without a doubt. And with that said, let's hop into our housekeeping items and the pod with Dennis. Hey, what's up, guys? To support the show for free, here are some main options. If you're on Apple, make sure you rate and write a review of our podcast. This makes a huge difference and helps support the show. If you're on Spotify, follow us. If you're on Google Play, hit subscribe and auto-download so you'll be notified and have a fresh pod ready to go when we drop. Lastly, make sure you share the podcast on Instagram or whichever social platform you use and tag us. On Twitter, we're at 24/7 Hustlers. On Instagram, we're at 24/7 Hustler. And on Facebook, we're Hustle Over Everything. And now, guys, gotta pay attention to this point. We just dropped a new newsletter. It's called The Underrated. It's a weekly newsletter that breaks down untold stories that highlight game-changing business strategies that shape our sports, music, and culture. It drops once a week on Mondays, early in the morning, to prep you for the week. So subscribe to that, and we'll see you in the pod. Good evening, welcome you, man. Welcome to the Hustle Over Everything, man.
I'm
Welcome
hyped.
to the HOE den, brother.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped to be here right now.
Yes.
I'm hyped. I've been looking forward to this, you know?
Same
I know
here, man. I saw some recent videos you just dropped, and I was like, you know what? I can't wait to pick your brain because, some videos, like a lot of the finance stuff you're talking, we've been gearing up for this chat.
Absolutely. I'm ready.
So, to start things off, I'll start off with the icebreaker.
Okay.
Have you heard of Anthony O'Neill?
Anthony O'Neill. He's Dave Ramsey personality?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So recently, did
Yeah.
you hear about the date shenanigans that happened with him?
What happened, Al? Tell us.
All right. So
What happened?
let me break it down. So, so he goes on a date with a young lady, right?
Okay.
And after the date went pretty well. She requests to go on another date with him, but at a specific restaurant the next weekend.
Okay.
Right? And as a guy in finance, like you are, like we aim to be, he budgets.
Yeah.
And he has a date on a specific line item, right?
Okay.
So he messages the girl and says, hey, that restaurant is not in my budget.
Okay.
But next month, he'd be happy to take her out. Do you think that, well, first off, you need to say her response.
Yeah.
She leaves him on red and doesn't say anything to him. When on your iPhone you see the bubbles pop up,
Yeah.
and then it disappear.
That's exactly ellipses. They go up and down. They're like they type, then they disappear. Then they type again, then they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So she was ready to say something, and then nah. She said she's not doing it.
She's not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Word. So all right. So do you think that he's being cheap, or she's being bougie, or unfair because of what he said, or is this what it is? What do you think?
I don't think he's being cheap, and being someone. Here's the thing: being someone who actually like actively budgets and looks at what I spend.
Yeah.
There's two sides to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it really comes down to is communication. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a lack of communication there, right?
How so?
Well, it took time to get to the place where I'm at right now, where my mindset is on, I need to know where every dollar is going, right? Mm-hmm. And I still have friends, who I talk to who don't really get it, right? Like they don't understand, right? Even I'll give you a good example, actually. My parents, right? My mom specifically, given her background, whatever, like, her mentality was always, I'd go to school, I'd get a job, and I'd be able to live a good life, right? Like zero context to that whatsoever. But what she might not understand is, okay, I went to school, I've got this debt. I need to start planning myself financially so that, I can get out of this debt and actually start making, some good financial moves, right? Mm-hmm. Point being, like some people aren't there. So you really do have to talk to them and communicate and tell them, I'm doing this because of this, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's tough if you ask someone out on a date and you don't have that line of communication where you can be like, hey, like, I watch my money. I want to know where every dollar goes, and then on her end, I feel like the person didn't like you to begin with, right? Like if I feel like they weren't that interested to begin with. If you gave them a solution to rescheduling the date and they're not up to it, right? That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents.
It's like they want you just to take them out on the date. Like screw you. I want to be at the restaurant. It doesn't matter with who.
Mhm.
I just want you to be the vehicle to take me there and purchase that meal for me. In my opinion,
Yeah.
I think that I relate with the guy, right? And also relate with the girl too.
You see both sides. Yeah.
I see both sides, right? As a woman, you want to, especially if you see yourself as high quality and you see yourself as valuable, you don't want to be taken out to like any restaurant, right? If you're dating like a high value chick, you definitely knew she was high value, and you know that there's a certain caliber that she's only willing to entertain, and anything below that, it's not a good look for her, right?
But you know what?
So
That's not the person for me. Then I'm
yeah,
gonna say that.
exactly, right? So this comes with a guy, right? I mean, yeah, he's wrong. He's like, yeah, I mean, he's right, but also he's wrong. Like, hey, like you should have known this going in, that this girl is willing to, she wants these type of dates that you can't really afford. So they're both on the wrong and they're both right. So no one really, it's not the girl's fault either. It's not the guy's fault either. It's just a difference in lifestyle, and there was no communication on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in my opinion, bro, I feel like the
I'm ready. I'm ready. You're silent for a bit, so I'm waiting to hear.
He's gearing up, man.
So firstly, he was already wrong for texting. That was his first mistake.
Okay.
Was texting. You should have, in the voice inflections to let her know that he cares about her and that he cares about his budget are completely gone through text.
Mm-hmm.
I would have at least taken up the phone and called her and be like, hey, listen, I actually really
point.
My date. Give her the deep voice. Put some baritone in there. You feel me?
Some Barry White in there.
You feel me? Put some Pop Smoke in there. And
so that's a communication piece right there.
Communication piece in that sense, for sure.
Yeah.
But also, like I'd kind of finesse it, like I would finesse it. I can't even lie if that was me. But I like the fact that he told her, because then he's being honest. That's the caliber of man he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it exposed the caliber of woman she is as well. Because there's nothing wrong with budgeting, but I feel like the way he kind of says it kind of came off in the wrong way, because you're not a part of my line item. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't make it. That's not romantic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, imagine the girl's like, yo, let's go for food. Like, sorry, my line items. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he sees her as a liability on the statement. It's just like, Rod, like I dropped 2 bills for this.
So, you're communicating that she's not a priority, I guess.
Exactly.
For this date, right?
So you got to be able to communicate that you're a priority and you're worth money, but I got a budget. You feel me? So yeah, that's what I think that starts off, man. Getting that communication right for sure, man. But yo.
On sync.
Sync, man.
Yo, you know what time this happened? Low key in the editing room, I'm like, yo, damn, you said the same shit again? God damn.
We say a lot of the same stuff, bro.
Word, that's just Toronto life, It's
Yeah.
But Dennis, so speaking about girls and everything, the big part of your brand is you and your missus Stephanie, and everybody has come to know you as Steph and Den. This is the brand you're building. Talk about like how both of you, how did you guys meet? What was the first thing that you guys liked about each other that got you guys in a relationship, and then also starting this financial journey together.
Absolutely, yeah. So we met at school, right? So we both went to the University of Ottawa. For anyone who doesn't know where Ottawa is, it's several hours outside of Toronto. A bit farther than several hours, but so we both met at school. I'm actually a year ahead of her, but I was doing a 5th year at the time. So we met literally at the very last, I guess the last stage on our university journey. So we both did internship at this company called Brookfield in Ottawa. And I don't think either of us were, really thinking much at the time. My mindset was, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to move back to Toronto. And for her,
just figure it out.
And just figure things out. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we met during that time. So the summer before our very last year, and we just really connected. You know, we came from different backgrounds, but I think just from a communication standpoint, like it felt right at first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it just clicked. And it's funny that you brought up that icebreaker with Anthony O'Neill, because for our very first date, like we split it, right? And I let the situation happen. There's I feel like often at times when you go on a date,
There's
you
pressure as
know,
a guy, right? It's just like
yeah, there's
I asked you out as a guy, so if I'm making you put on makeup, get ready, invest time, like you deserve to pay, you have to pay for her putting in that effort to come see
uh-huh,
you. You feel me?
uh-huh. But what's interesting is she insisted, actually. She insisted on paying for the entire thing, actually,
It wasn't
which
it, it wasn't like one of those like, oh yeah,
Wow.
let's split, and then just like
nah, it
expecting
wasn't
you to pay
it
type of
wasn't to
thing.
pull out the card and then slowly, the hesitation,
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like that. She's very much so like her own individual, and which I really liked. But yeah, like we finished off school together in Ottawa, and we were both keen on moving back. For me, it was moving back to Toronto. For her, both of our families, live in the GTA, so it kind of made sense. So when we moved back here, we initially got jobs that we weren't really too keen on. They were sort of just like jobs to help us move back to Toronto. We didn't really have too big of a network, and once we got here and sort of transitioned into our formal roles in for me in finance, for her in HR, we sort of started looking around, and we saw this really, really big gap within personal finance and career knowledge amongst young professionals and young people in general. So for me, when I was in school, I remember going on YouTube. I went on YouTube and Google for everything, any question I had, as
Mhm.
I'm sure other people do in their regular days. And one thing that I really wanted to know was, how do I get into a Big Four firm? And what's interesting is that all the videos that I found were all either American, right? So there's zero Canadian content, or they were all white people. So none of them looked like me,
Mhm.
right? So I, I really wanted that perspective when I was in school. So, fast forward to me graduating, getting a job at a Big Four firm, I was now in that position. So, from my perspective, it sort of made sense that I would share this knowledge that I was desperately looking for when I was in school that wasn't there. And then, me and Steph sort of got talking, and, we're both big fans of, personal finance. Like, I remember when we weren't living together, like, we would fall asleep to me playing like Dave Ramsey episodes off of YouTube, right? Just like on the phone, like that's how we'd end up falling asleep, just talking on the phone.
And you're having
Um,
that pillow talk, and you got
we got
Ramsey playing.
Dave right next door.
Don't kill me. Dave Ramsey as pillow
Yeah.
talk is nuts.
Oh man, that's just you guys are built for the personal finance game, bro.
Oh my god,
So
bro.
yeah, like that just goes to show you we were both on the same page. In terms of like the whole personal finance gap, I remember getting into Graham Stephan, obviously the Dave Ramsey personalities. I was already onto that, but I remember Graham Stephan was talking about real estate, and just general personal finance. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other people. The Financial Diet,
Yeah.
um, all in this
Budgetista.
all in the States. Nothing for Canada. Like there's
Nada.
no really big
Hmm.
main channels that talk about personal finance or money in general from a Canadian perspective. So for us, we're like, well, I have a background in videography. Like I used to love making videos like back in the day.
What
Hmm.
we used to
So
make?
sorry.
What you used to make?
I used to make like little cinematic like videos of my friend. Like we'd go to an event and we'd shoot like our journey from like we'd shoot our journey from putting on our nice clothes, getting to the
Mm-hmm.
event, shaking hands, like um, just
Capturing the
things
whole
like that. Yeah,
experience.
just capturing an experience. You know,
Yeah.
Storytelling.
we went to Tremblant, like we filmed our, my first time skiing in Tremblant. So his first time skiing in general. So
How long ago was this then?
so this was 2016. So
Oh,
2016.
right around like the content wave that was coming up, like, people
Exactly.
creating personal brands. So
Yeah.
you kind of ahead of your time a little before everything took off.
Exactly. I wasn't confident enough to throw it up on YouTube at the time, but yeah, like there's some footage in the library there. Yeah. So, you know, anyways, me and Steph got to talking, and we both saw this gap. I think given like my finance background and studying accounting in school, it was much easier for me to digest a lot of the tougher information. For Steph, what was really cool was the fact that whenever we'd have these discussions about some of these tougher concepts that people don't typically understand, when we talk about it, and she comes from an HR background, when she get to the point where she was understanding it and she was able to like disseminate it in like a digestible way as well, I
In
was like,
simpler
okay,
terms.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I
one
was like,
plus
all
one
right.
equal two.
Exactly. We figured we've got something here. We might as well start sharing our personal finance journey as well, on top of teaching some of these terms like the TFSA and the background around that, RSP, those sort of things.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
Um,
I want to say the amount of times that I've heard Roth IRA or 401k
Oh
on
my
YouTube
God.
is ridiculous, right? Like,
I was just about to say that, but when you were talking, just let me, I don't want to interrupt you, but that's everything I used to hear Roth IRA. I'm like, what the hell's a Roth? Do we have that in Canada? I'm like looking at my
exactly.
TD account. Okay, Roth IRA. Then I
yeah,
found out it's actually a TSFA account, but the Canadian version.
Hmm. Exactly.
most definitely. So, what was your first YouTube video?
Our first, our our very first YouTube video. So
Yeah.
our channel has definitely changed over time. We started off with more of a lifestyle sharing channel. So we did an apartment tour where we broke down like we filmed what our apartment looks like. We broke down what you can get for under 2,000 in Toronto, and we broke down our different costs of us having this condo and making the transition from somewhere else to Toronto. So it was lifestyle, but it still had that little bit of that money component,
Most definitely. Most
Yeah.
definitely. And then you kind of switched into the money component, diving deeper into like your personal finances, the TFSA'S.
Yeah, well, we figured, me and Steph are both on two different journeys right now. So for me, I've been on this whole journey where I'm paying down my student loan debt. Whereas for her, based on me being on my student loan debt and trying to pay it off aggressively, in turn, what happens there is she now saves a lot of money because we do things together, right? If I'm not spending money because I'm paying off this debt, she's saving a significant, portion. So we wanted to document what she's doing to, optimize her savings, and then what I'm doing to optimize this whole repayment process.
How far are you on your debt?
I've got a few $1,000s left.
What's a
Started
few
off.
thousand?
So a few thousand is just under $5,000.
Bruh, you can do that in like a heartbeat. I'm sure you're gonna
So,
kill that in like 4 months, five
so,
months.
here's the journey, right? I graduated in 2018, April, started paying it down, I'd say the fall. And then to give you context, I had $45,000. So I've been doing $1,300 dollar payments every month for the
Gee,
last just under 2 years now. So yeah.
that's aggressive,
Bruh.
man. Congrats to you for that, bro.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
lot. That's a lot. That's a close haircut.
That's discipline.
Yeah. It's definitely been tough,
All right.
especially when you live downtown. Like, a lot of people ask me a bunch of questions about living downtown, and I tell them, like, listen, like, I don't go out, right? Like, when I was starting off at my firm, like, I'm sure you guys know, like starting salary isn't that much, especially when you're
Fresh out of school.
fresh out of school, right?
Yeah, it's like
So
50.
for me, when we're talking monthly cash flow, I probably had maybe $200 to spare after I paid off my expenses and my big debt payment every month, you know? So after I paid everything off, rent, food, all that, I was left with like $200 for a long period of time, you know? So
And that $200 became the normal to you, right? So you probably like, I know when you don't have money, your mind somehow gets creative on how you can stretch that $200 to until your next payment type of thing. How did you manage to spend that $200? Like, what were you doing to last that till like your next paycheck?
so that 200 essentially was money that I was using to build up some sort of like emergency fund.
Mm.
So when I say I only had 200 left, this is after I paid all my fixed and my variable expenses. So I was essentially okay, right? But let's say Steph wants to go on a date or do something, like
Yeah, to
I
say
don't I don't have
no.
that much I don't have that much money,
That money's flying away. Just it's like you hear with the
So
wind blowing.
yeah, so in terms of that 200, um, what I did is I I got to a point where I had built up a good emergency fund with that 200 over some time, and then once I was in a nice spot, um, I had $3,000. Let's say should anything happen, um, once I was in a good spot with my emergency fund, then I decided to just throw that 200 into the debt. Yeah.
Fire, bro. So let's get into investing. One thing that you're really hyper on is REITs. Can you break that down for the audience?
REITs, yes. For anyone who doesn't know what REITs are, they are real estate investment trusts. And essentially what a REIT does is it allows a regular investor, so me or you, to have an opportunity to buy into real estate, right? So as I'm sure we all know, when it comes to real estate, it's very capital intensive. You need a lot of money, whether it be a down payment for a home. You need that. In Canada, you need at least 5% down, I believe,
Mhm.
um,
For first home buyers, right?
for first time home buyers. Yes.
Mhm.
So what a REIT does is, let's say you're someone who doesn't necessarily have a lot of money, but um, you want ownership in um, commercial real estate. You want ownership in residential real estate, right? A REIT gives you that opportunity. So it's similar to you buying a stock, but in an organization that operates real estate. So a great example would be, let me give you a good example. A great example would be, RioCan. RioCan is a Canadian REIT, and the way that it works is they're the way that it works is that their expertise is in operating and purchasing different types of real estate. So they own, for example, a bunch of buildings. They own various real estates across Canada, right? And the way that it would work is if you were to buy a share, so if you were to buy one share into RioCan, they would pay you out in um, a monthly dividend of some sort, right?
Yeah, that's also like smart centers. Uh,
So Smart
they
Centers also has a REIT as well. Yeah.
yeah they make like all the Walmart buildings across
Hmm.
the country. A lot of like the different shopping centers that you see in different suburban neighborhoods, like in the Vaughns, Bramptons, Mississaugas, like those complexes, that those outdoor malls are like all um, made by smart centers. Talking about the REITs, what are like the risks associated with getting into a REIT? It is a stock in itself, right? And
Hmm.
looking at the dividend is one thing itself, but what are some other things that can signify that this is a solid investment into a REIT, like a REIT stock?
Absolutely. So, one major thing would be how much of the money that they're generating from them operating these different, pieces of real estate are they paying out to investors, right? And have they been able to maintain that amount, right? Because a lot of the time there's a lot of REITs that'll pop up, right? Like if we wanted to somehow pool money together, we can go and form a REIT, right? So the dividend payout ratio is very important, right? What is that ratio, right? And how long have they been able to sustain that, right? So I think that's a very good indicator right there. In terms of the risks associated with it, obviously, just like anything else, they're concentrated in one asset class, right? They invest simply in real estate, right? So if you're just going to be buying REITs, there's not much diversification there. The stock market takes a hit, then that's your portfolio right there, right? So diversification is obviously, something that you owning a REIT would lack. So if you are going to be buying into REITs, then you probably want to consider diversifying some of your money into, other asset classes or other types of products.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, man. One thing I've come across from your content, man, is that you like have a bit of a dislike towards the top 5 banks. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because like I remember you talking about high interest savings accounts, and you're like, yeah, listen, TD, it ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
Take the L, yeah.
Word. So, what's your advice when it comes to high interest savings accounts, and what have you experienced?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things for me when I graduated school was the change in going from a student account to now a regular account that you now have to pay for, right?
Was that like $16 now?
Yes. 15,
yeah,
it's like 15 something. Yeah, $16 or something like that. So I remember when I graduated, I was looking at my statements and I saw this charge and I was like, what? Like what's going on? Like why did they charge me this? So I went into the bank and the guy told me, he's like, yeah, like you're no longer a student now. So you're on this paid account. He's like, and what the guy said to me, he's like, but don't worry though. As long as you have $5,000 in this account, we won't charge you. Keep in mind, I just graduated. I have no money, right? Like a lot of other people who just graduated. I had maybe like a couple $100, in my account. So to me, it didn't really make sense for me to keep my money, within the big 5. At the time, I think I was a TD. So it really didn't make sense for me to keep my money there. So what I started looking into was other alternatives. And another issue that I had was you didn't have to pay any money actually, but you could only have, I think, a maximum of like 3 transactions a month.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So
And that
like
gets you
a couple e-transfers here and there, like, that eats it up right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
let's say
even
you
if
pay your phone
you
bill. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Even if you transfer money out of your account, it's like a $25 charge. I believe,
Oh my
right?
goodness! Don't
Like
get
if you
me.
move money out of your savings account, I have the TD account, and first time I did this, I was like, "Raw, like I'm kind of running low on some cash. Let me do a little dip over here." I did it, and then I'm like, why is there $25 missing? I swear I just took out like $100. And then I looked at the statement. It's a fee for withdrawing because they want you to just save that money in there. So when you try and pry it out, they're actually penalizing you. So this is how they make you save your money.
Yep.
By charging every withdrawal you have.
They make you save your money by making money off of you. Crazy.
And they know how human behavior is. They know, like, yeah, eventually they're gonna start dipping, and we'll make money off this account.
Yep.
They're
So
crooks.
it's stuff like that where I was like, this doesn't make sense. There has to be, other alternatives. So I started looking into the different online banks, and I realized that, a lot of the main online banks, whether it be Tangerine or, Simply Financial, they have free transfers. They tend to have much higher high interest savings accounts, right? Usually you can make more money on those accounts than you can with the big five. And what's funny is that if you look at Simply, I'm pretty sure CIBC owns Simply, and Tangerine, I don't know if it's Scotia or RBC that
It's
owns it.
Scotiabank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
Scotiabank.
Yeah. So I was like, well, why am I putting my money with TD when I can go open up an account with, Tangerine or Simply Financial, right? And it's still under that same umbrella, right? It is its own financial institution. So, from a security perspective, I think that's one of the main concerns that a lot of people have, right? Like I remember talking to my parents, and, for however long they've been in Canada, what's been drilled into their mind is the big five, because, they're scared. What if banks go under? Like what's going to happen then, right? Is my money going to be okay with, a Simply or a Tangerine? And to answer that question, yes. Just like the other banks, they're CDIC insured, right? So the Canadian Depository Insurance Company, CDIC, yeah. They insure all the banks. If you're banking with an institution that's not CDIC insured, then you might want to look into that, right? So I looked
Take that shit out.
So I looked into all the different banks. I looked into, the different credit unions, and I looked at, like, is my money going to be safe? And the answer to that was, my money's going to be insured up to $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure is the same with TD, RBC, whichever of the big five. So one of the big things is we live in an online world now. So do I really need to go see the person at the branch? No, not really. I never see them. I typically don't see them anyways, right?
Yeah.
In terms of investment advice, like, didn't need that, didn't need that anyways, right? So,
I hear you.
Yeah, man. When it comes to investing, one of the big drawbacks is, especially for, millennials and people coming out of school, is the educational portion of it. It's very time consuming, reading, if you want to get in stock market, like reading financial statements and everything like that. But, this is one thing not everyone has like that capacity to do, especially if you have no idea in investing.
Yeah.
So what has worked for you and Steph to make smart, intelligent investments? Perhaps this can be in the stock market or general investment vehicles. What has worked for you guys?
So what's worked for us is finding good digestible information. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people out there who have differing opinions, this and that. A lot of the time you don't even, if you're reading some of the information, like, you don't even know what's going on with it, right? So I think,
Don't be nice, man. There's some bullshit out there.
Yeah, there's some
bullshit
BS,
out
yeah.
there.
Some people are just making content for the sake of content,
Well,
Thursday.
It's funny that you guys say that, because we get comments on our videos all the time from, a lot of older people who literally say things like, you guys shouldn't be teaching people to save. You're talking about investing in index funds. You're talking about investing in ETFs when you should be telling people to buy silver, right? Like, we get comments like that. We get comments like that all the time, right? And there's different channels that preach that type of stuff too, right? But I think for us, it's keeping things to the basics. We know for us, something that we want to do is set up a portfolio that we're going to be contributing to consistently, right? Whether that's a do-it-yourself approach, which, we've talked about in some of our videos, or whether it's you going out to an organization like Wealthsimple and using a robo-advisor. That's also another great approach. If you think you're not ready to take on your own investments yourself, then go to a Wealthsimple, right? The worst position you can be in is someone who's not invested at all, if you have the capacity to do so. So, for us, it's been finding consistent information. I think as long as the methodology that you're using is consistent, and you're you're not moving things around too much, then you're going to be successful in your financial journey.
Yeah. I saw you guys, speaking about index funds too in your videos. I mean, I recently saw Steph. She's talking about index funds. They're solid investment, because they mirror the market in terms of like the return that you get per year.
Mm-hmm.
Speak more about index funds.
Yeah.
How can people look at index funds? Because I feel like this is one of the safest ways to passively invest your money in a large amount where it's going to be safe and also give you what's going to be at the market. So talk about index funds. What are they? How do you like them amongst all other investment vehicles? And how can people get started with index funds?
Absolutely. So index funds are essentially a pool of different stocks put into one fund that you can purchase. And like you just said, they do mirror the market. So when we say they mirror the market, for example, a common index fund that a lot of people have probably heard of would be the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, if you were to buy into it, is essentially a fund that has all of the top 500 companies in the market, essentially. And instead of you buying into these companies individually, with index funds, you have the opportunity to own all of them by purchasing into this one fund. I think it's Warren Buffett that they asked, if you could give anyone, any piece of investment advice, what would you give them? And he said, buy a fund that mirrors the market. I think I don't know what the stat is, but index funds or funds that mirror the market in general will beat out a stock picker like 90% of the time, right?
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did like that study where they're talking about because every investment analyst thinks like they can beat the market. I mean, that's their job, right? Like they guarantee, we're gonna do like 12% return this year, 13% return, but it's extremely hard to beat the market. And in a book, have you heard of the I'll Teach You How to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi? Have you read that book? And
I haven't read it, but yes.
Yeah, he actually spoke about the concept of index funds, and he was saying that this is the best way to get money, because when you also have to assess the management expense ratio for like looking at investment and index funds. Also, I mean, depending who you go with, I mean, this is like a big indicator of that.
Yeah.
But no one can even beat the market, even if you think you do all the research, you can never beat the market no matter what you do. And index funds, like if you don't have the time to invest picking, let's say Shopify in 2009, like you would know Shopify was going to be an amazing stock, right?
Yeah.
So to count yourself to think you're going to be the one to be the Houdini of everything and make things like have your amazing portfolio, like you're just fooling yourself essentially.
Absolutely. Like it's even if we're talking like young people like us who are just starting out in their careers, right? Like for me, I really don't have time to be researching companies every day, or I really don't have time in my schedule to be researching companies in general, just based on my schedule. So am I just not going to invest? No. Like if you have the ability to do so, and you have some money that you can devote to your investments, that's what's great about index funds, right? And we kind of alluded to this when we were talking about things like Simple versus the do-it-yourself approach. So me and Steph have chosen 4 different funds that we buy into her portfolio, and we've gone about it the do-it-yourself approach, whereas Simple can actually the robo advisor can they can choose a tailored portfolio for you of these different funds. They will charge you a management fee, but it won't be as high as what you're being charged at your bank. That's one of the key indicators. Like I remember Steph, she was investing in it was called like a comfort balanced portfolio by TD, right? And if you look at what they're charging you to manage this fund, and I can tell you they're not doing much, right? They're not with a lot of these like balanced funds that they offer. They're not really doing much, but they're definitely charging you a lot for it. So which could be which also could be the difference between an extra 200,000 once you reach, you know, your retirement point or whenever you're deciding to pull out your money, right? So why not take that money back, manage it yourself, and, you know, keep it simple.
Is it the risk, I think, is the most people think it is, or the time investment that I guess is the usual like deciding factor?
So what me and Steph say is, you know, if you have the time, like for our index fund portfolio, what I do is I rebalance it myself, and I'll rebalance it every quarter, so once a quarter. Right? To me, it's very simple math. We've done a video on it on our channel. I think the regular person can do it too, right? So it doesn't have to be someone with you know, finance or accounting background. But if you're not comfortable with that, then I would suggest you go with Simple, where, you know, they rebalance your portfolio for you on a consistent basis. All you have to do is dedicate a certain amount to go into this fund and purchasing those funds.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that, man. I need to get on that ASAP.
Yeah, man. The time value of money, bro. Time is all we got. So
yeah,
there's no better time to start than now, as they always say.
absolutely.
That's a fact, man. So one thing we haven't touched on, switching gears a bit, is your career in consulting. Well, we touched on it a little bit, but we can get a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You know, how'd you get into it? Was it easy getting into it? Yeah, let's start there, and then we'll dive a little deeper.
Okay. So I didn't really have a plan to get into consulting. If I think back to when I was in school, my focus, if I look at all the different internships and all the different co-ops that I did, they were all in some sort of finance function within different companies. So I started off at Canada Post right after my first year. I was in like an accounts payable role. So very, very, very not fun. Let's just say it wasn't fun.
Cut and dry.
Yeah. It was very repetitive. Like I wasn't having fun. And through networking, I was able to land a job with Sobeys Canada. And that took me to Nova Scotia, which was an interesting experience in and of itself.
What was that like, man?
Yeah, Nova Scotia, bro. Like you pull up, you know, a young black guy going to Nova Scosia.
So it's interesting.
Shock, bro.
It's interesting when I say Nova Scotia, because a lot of people think Halifax, right? But I was in this little town that I'd never heard of. But this was the birthplace of Sobeys, right? And Sobeys is obviously a very big grocery chain. Like they're even in like Portland. They've got a banner there as well. Like some parts in the States, they're in Florida. So obviously very big company. But it's this big company that started from this very small town. So for me, you know, like I didn't really know what to expect, but you know, I remember when I initially flew out there, and keep in mind, I was living with guys so one of the guys actually worked with me at Sobeys, right? Which is actually how I initially got the place. So I knew one of the guys actually worked there, but I'd never met any of these people ever. And, you know, when I got there, all I saw was trucks. And keep in mind, I'm coming from Toronto. What I thought was a small city was Ottawa, right? Like I went to school in Ottawa. So when I got to New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, huge culture shock. You know, obviously Nova Scotians are known to be like, you know, really nice people, whatever. But for me, I just felt like everyone was just staring at me. Like I felt like an outsider, you know? And I feel like, yeah, I felt like I didn't belong. You know, sometimes you don't know whether it's because you're new in this area or, you know, a lot of the time because you're the black man. you're the new black man in town. So, yeah, like I got there, meeting one of my roommates. So he didn't actually work for the company, but meeting him, I remember, having casual conversations with him, and, once he got a little bit more comfortable with me, he came up to me, he asked me, "Hey man, like, I see you're very nice, you're very nicely dressed. You present yourself very well. I know here in Nova Scotia, we help out. I know the government helps out a lot of the native people here in Nova Scotia. Do they do that with black people in Ontario?" And I remember being like, "Whoa, what do you mean? Like, what do you like, what does that mean?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, like, do they help out black people with, like a lot of government assistance? Like, is that why you're doing so well? Or you seem as if you're doing so well?"
Wow.
You're like, excuse me?
Which
Really good.
which obviously took me back. And for me, I was alone here, right? So it wasn't like when you're walking downtown in Toronto, or you're walking around in Toronto, place you're familiar with, someone says something crazy, you might say something crazy back. I didn't have that sense of comfortability, right? So I kept it moving, but more or less very, very, very different experience. I did a lot of growing, I say. I did a lot of growing during that experience, because I moved to this random town that I didn't know. I talked to my mom probably like every day and just gave her an update on what was going on, right? And I remember, my mom telling me, my mom's never told me this before ever. She's like, maybe you should just come back home. I'm like, what? Like I took this, it was a really good job, right? Like, it was a job that I knew the role would help me get to that next level, or land another great job or another great internship. So I didn't want to quit, right? So, I stuck it through, and the work experience was good.
How long were you out there for?
I was there for 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was one of the craziest things you've seen out there in Nova Scotia?
Craziest?
Yeah, like what sticks out to you? So there's the microaggression white guy.
Yeah.
Like, what was some of the other things that you saw that was like noteworthy to you?
Well, I remember being in a grocery store, and there was a kid who never seen a black person, and she yelled out, "Mom, look."
Damn, that's nuts.
I mean, I can't even imagine how that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, I can in a way, because
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town here in Ontario, in Sarnia, Ontario. So I remember when I first moved from Don Valley to in North York area to Sarnia, because my dad got a job there, and he's like, this is a good place to build a house. It's beside the water. You're 5 minutes away from Michigan. But this town was like, you can legit count the black people in the city. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, the neighborhood we lived in, there was a YMCA down the street. And I remember walking the sidewalk where the cars are like, the cars are going up and down. And legit every car I, was coming and going by, I could just see people's heads turning and looking at me, because they couldn't believe that, whoa, who, is that a black guy? Like, who is that? And then, I'd go into stores. I remember my mom, my sisters, and I, because my dad would be at work, we're little kids. We're like, I was like around 12 years old.
Yeah.
And these clerks would be like, "Oh, are you visiting from across the border? Are you here? Like, how's your visit in Sarnia so far?" And I'm like,
"No, we live
excuse
here."
me, we live here. Like, they're so shocked to see black people, man. But I think over the years, I just got used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
That's insane.
Another thing that was really interesting that I saw over there was the real estate market. I had never seen a home, being from here, that was around like, I didn't know you could get anyways, I didn't know you could get a house for $50,000, for example, or $40,000. I'd never heard of that. Right. Like growing up here in Toronto, like, I remember, back when my parents got their home, they probably got it for, like 200, 300,000. Right. But I did not know that you could get a home for, less than 100K. And we're talking, when we say less than 100K, like if you're hitting, 100K, you're getting like a 6-bedroom, like you're getting a spot,
Wow.
Yeah, you're getting a spot.
Yeah. Honestly, like that's gonna start happening now. Now with being able to work virtually, people are gonna start moving, wherever they want to move to. So like, even like people in my team are like moving to like borderline Hamilton, Saga, because like, what's the point? The downtown is losing real estate like crazy because everyone's realizing, hey, I can work virtually now. So what's the point?
And it's also positive too for people like me who have been, Dan, I've been living in this basement apartment. It's like, it's nice, right? But I've been here for the past 6 years, and I've been waiting for a time to move out, and there's no better time than now.
Renters market,
bro.
Exactly. The renters market, yeah.
I was kind of telling my roommates, this is kind of like how Kawhi, Masai got Kawhi, is that you just got to be patient, and eventually the opportunity is gonna come, and when it comes, you gotta seize it.
Mm-hmm. Seize the
day. That's what I did, man. That's what I did. So I got my new spot. I'm gonna be down like near waterfront, near St. Lawrence Market.
No way. That's near me.
Because you're close to the distillery, right?
Yeah, I'm close to the distillery. I just literally right before this, I did a walk down to the market or down to the water.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I walk to the water every day.
Boom, man! Definitely get some beverages.
Yeah, definitely down for that.
Oh man, and that whack ass restaurant.
You're still not having it, huh?
Bruh, what was that restaurant called again?
Because you suggested the restaurant, right?
I didn't suggest. I didn't suggest it.
No, he didn't suggest it. To be fair, he didn't suggest it. All right, so for the listeners,
I wouldn't have told you to go there. You told me you were going there. You asked me if there's anything good.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. So we went to this restaurant, El Catrine, in sorry, El Catrine, if y'all listening, in the Distillery District.
You hate it so much you butcher their name, man.
Isn't that how you call it, El Catrine?
Is it El Catrine?
Katrin, yeah.
Katrin. Oh, I said the Katrine. All right, El Catrine. Got you. El Catrine?
I thought you're just showing your distaste even more.
Yeah. No. If I was to do that, I'm going to say it like this. Listen, El Catrine. Respectfully. You are trash. Respectfully, you are trash. Yeah, their servings was trash. The hot sauce they had. Big hot.
I want to point out though, I've never met anyone who goes to a Mexican restaurant and orders ribs. I want to point out that
that's fair.
It's a place that people go to eat tacos typically.
That's fair. And no one liked the tacos. I know no one liked the tacos. I think so. Everyone around was ordering tacos, and I'm like, all right, everyone's ordering tacos. I'm not gonna. I don't want to fit in everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Be different.
Let me be different. Let me order the ribs. And I asked him what's something that's filling. What's a filling meal? Because the tacos are some puny tacos. They're not like anything that's filling at all. They're them tiny little,
You know the thing is, they're for the gram, bro. It's like a trendy spot to say, let's go live for lunch or whatever and take good pics. It's an atmosphere. You're actually not paying for the food.
That's what you're paying for. Yeah, you're paying
for the atmosphere. Yeah. But then you end up going home and eating again. You're like, I just paid to be at a venue essentially and have little nibbles of what you call a taco.
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm a man. I don't like to go somewhere just to look around. You know what I'm saying? I want to eat. Like if I'm there to eat, I'm gonna eat. There should be a good balance of both.
Mixed servings.
Like Brasai, they have a good mix of both. Inside is beautiful. The food, the chicken meal.
Aren't they closed?
Yeah, of course, yeah, they're the big closed. But did they just close on King Street? Were they part of the 3 that just closed?
No, they closed a while ago on King Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You check out Marbell too, Marbl on King.
They're the ones that initially got in trouble with the whole COVID restrictions. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Michelle Romano from Dragon's Den. She was a part owner in that, and she posted on LinkedIn saying that she's going to exercise her right to sell off her shares in the business.
You know what? guys, like I feel like that was such a very reactive thing to do. Um, I mean, okay, just because of COVID is gonna come and go, but you don't just leave because of a COVID thing. That I think maybe
But
she was
you,
looking for a way out.
but you know
You know what I mean?
what? But you know what? Maybe. But it was a bad look for her because she has, out of all the owners, she has the biggest name, right? So a lot of people were emailing her, being like, "What's going on? Your name is on this. Why are you letting this happen?" She pointed out, she's like, "I'm not involved in the operations whatsoever. I'm a silent partner. I'm a minority owner and silent partner." So I'm assuming
Yeah.
if it was going to do more damage to her brand, then,
More losses.
yeah.
Got you. Uh, I mean, I'm very green on this, so I don't know if I can speak on it that much. To be fair, but
Okay.
it doesn't sound like from an investor, like I feel like there's so much worse that could happen. Like if I'm investing in a business and they don't follow the COVID rules, say, hey, I'm gonna instill,
But you
a
know what?
lot of fire under their ass.
She didn't care, right? She didn't care. She's a minority owner. She's like, I've got, you know, I don't know how much her Clear Bank has. I don't know how much that fund has, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's got, over 50 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the people that have invested in that, they're more important than this little
It's a little
restaurant,
this
this
little
little
rinky dink.
restaurant,
This little flick. I can flick it away, like
you
be
know?
gone. Release, like a dove release. You feel me? What was I gonna say? Actually, shout out to her though. On this. Shout out to her though. She actually wants to be in the pod, so shout out to Michelle. Hopefully, we can make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Most definitely, man. All right. So moving right along. Working towards wrapping up. Is there anything that we didn't cover?
Yeah. Um,
We didn't speak about the reason why you actually became Steph and Den. Popularity is the CNBC Make It feature.
Yeah,
yes,
you can touch on
yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did talk first, how did this opportunity come about and how did it contribute to your overall Steph and Den brand?
Absolutely. Yeah, so, I'd say back in November, October of 2019, me and Steph were on this huge binge of just watching everything that CNBC Make It was putting out. So we were huge fans of Millennial Money, They'd been at it for a while, but I think they really hit their push that fall. So we were watching them, and then we were watching Graham Stephan doing all the reactions to all those videos. And then, this was around the same time that we were looking to, talk about our goals for Steph and Den for 2020. And, in my mind, I was like, well, they go to all these Millennial Money does features for people in various states. They just did one in Finland. So I think it was the Finland one that really set it off to me. So to give some background, Millennial Money went to Finland and documented an episode of someone from Finland. Before that, everything was in the States. So as soon as they dropped that one, I was like, whoa, we can definitely be on. And, obviously one of the biggest missing perspectives is the Canadian, side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, this could potentially also, help push our brand to a larger audience. So, in December, me and Steph are finding ways to get on, right? So this meant emailing the producers, finding, I don't know, I guess some sort of contact information.
Mm-hmm.
With a lot of these big networks, you can't really find anyone. So you're kind of shooting in the dark, right? So we basically looked at all the things that they look at on Millennial Money, and we crafted an email around that. So we sent them, for anyone who's seen Millennial Money, there's usually this graph that pops up, this pie chart that shows a breakdown of all of the person's expenses. So we recreated that, and we sent it off in December. We didn't expect we didn't expect to hear back, but obviously, secretly inside, you're hoping that, someone sends you an email. So we send it in December. Come February, we get our first email correspondence. So one of the senior producers reaches out and they say, hey, it sounds like you guys definitely have, a perspective that we want to share. Would you guys be willing to do it as a couple? And we're like, yeah, like we're down to do it. We're down to be on for, in whichever capacity that you want us. So we sent them back an email. They said, okay, cool. We'll be in touch with you. Then COVID hit. And obviously the way that it works is that they would have to film us, right? So once COVID hit, borders shut down. Obviously they can't send their film crew or whoever to come, film the episode. So given the fact that we already, had a channel and, we're producing videos, they said, hey, like, we'll reach back out to you guys. We didn't hear back from them for like months, right? So fast forward. So from February to June, we didn't hear back from them. Fast forward to June, they're like, okay, let's do it. Only thing is, we'll be able to send someone from Toronto. So they found some, freelancer to come film it, but they can't come into your condo. So you're going to have to film everything, all the scenes in your condo. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, we'll do it. I'll take on the challenge of filming everything in my condo. Like I've seen some of the footage that they take. Right. So obviously it's a little bit intimidating given just the quality. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we filmed it. Very, very exhausting process just because I didn't realize like how long it takes to put together, a full-on episode. So we were filming probably from like 9 a.m. to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And, after that, we wrapped it up. They put it together, and once it was out, we had a huge surge to our channel of, just in general, all the Canadians that watch Millennial Money. And that's also a really good example of the gap in knowledge, right? We have all these Canadians that are watching Millennial Money, but there's no Canadian equivalent that's showcasing the perspective from a Canadian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this huge surge of different Canadians who are watching the episode. They're commenting on our channel. Hey, we made it here from Millennial Money. Super excited. So yeah, it really sort of put our channel on the map, I guess. It really helped us reach a broader audience. I think we had a lot of good videos on our channel, but I think one of the biggest struggles, especially when you're starting out or you're a smaller creator, is just getting that reach and getting to that audience that you want to reach, right? So essentially that's what CNBC Make It did, and that's what our feature did. It helped us reach that audience. And another follow-up to that really helped us was also Graham Stephan doing his reaction to that. As well as Patricia Bright.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So she did a reaction, and all of a sudden we're also getting that reach from a lot of Black people who follow and watch Patricia Bright, right? So yeah,
Shout out to Patricia Bright. Come on the podcast.
Shout out to Patricia Bright. Yeah.
Word. What was your reaction when you saw Patricia Bright react to your video?
It was crazy. It was crazy. Obviously, big fan, right? I don't think there's a lot of Black creators that are doing what she's doing at the level that she's doing it at. So, speaking on money, right? Like, she has a complete channel dedicated to money as a Black female. So, she's definitely killing it. She's also in the UK too, right? So, like, that reach is just crazy. So, for me, we were pumped, and then all of a sudden we start getting text messages from all these people. Obviously, we keep an eye on, like, on who's posting what. I think we got a notification of some sort saying that the episode had dropped. So as soon as it dropped, I think like a couple hours after that, we started getting messages from friends, from all these different people saying, hey, I just saw you on Patricia Bright. crazy. Like, I can't believe, Patricia Bright React. Like, have you seen it? I'm like, yeah, like, I've seen it.
You're like, nah, no shit. This is one of the biggest YouTubers, yeah, for sure.
What was also funny is that at work, people would send me emails of just a link to my feature on CNBC Make It. They wouldn't say anything.
What's the point of that?
Bruh, I hate that.
That
I
is
hate
so
people like
low
that.
effort.
Yeah.
Low effort,
What
yo.
the fuck? This like slacking to you? It's like, oh my god, I hate people like that. This sent you the link.
Or I'd get IMs from people at work with just the link, and they'd be like, "Have you seen it?" Keep in mind, it's been out for like a couple of days now. Have you seen it?
Bro,
have I seen myself on this very big platform?
I'm so cheesed right now. Like,
oh my god, I hate humans, bro.
Like,
this is why I hate humans.
Humans are actually.
What the heck?
My blood is boiling, dead ass, because I'm just like, how can I not know that? You'd be like, Rod, oh yo, I didn't know I was on CNBC Make It. Oh, thanks for sending me, bud.
No way.
I
You're like,
was on.
what? Oh, thanks, Johnny.
Yo, yeah. yeah. You should like pretend. This is go with it. Like they were the first ones.
No
like,
way. Yeah.
No way.
Oh my god.
You discovered that?
I didn't know cameras are filming me. What?
Yo, you know what?
so
You're a
hot.
good one.
You're a good one. What was also interesting was I think the feedback that we got on the books that we were reading, right? So it's kind of funny because if you're looking at it from an audience perspective, I think people sometimes forget that, yeah, like this CNBC Make It is a feature, right? So, we're not just having a casual day where we're walking around, the Distillery District, where we're walking around downtown Toronto. We're filming this on purpose, right? So, I think there was a lot of feedback on people, saying that, the books were staged, the books that we were reading. And obviously they were staged, right? Like, it's not a casual filming day, right? So the books that we had were, I was reading The Intelligent Investor, reading, air quotes around reading, but it's obviously a really great investing book. A bit more, it's a bit tough. It's a bit of a tougher read for I guess, in terms of layman's terms, right? Like it has a lot of,
very dense.
it is pretty dense.
Verbiage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it was just, it was just interesting seeing the different feedback from being someone who used to watch Millennial Money and now being featured and seeing people's reaction to being featured, right? Very different,
Most definitely.
Man, I can't believe people are sending you the link to your own. That is just. It's like, bro, it's like we go on, let's say, Joe Rogan.
And then they're like, yo, is that your money on there? How'd they get that?
Did you know, like, you're on Joe Rogan? Like, what? I'm like, no, I didn't.
It's a dream. It's a dream that they record, that they happen to record.
Insane, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyways,
But yo,
man.
Dennis. So what's next for you and your Mrs. Steph with your brand?
Oh, and just repeat that one more time. You're just breaking up a little bit.
I was asking, what's next for Dennis and Steph for their brand?
Yeah. So, our goal for 2020 was to reach a broader Canadian audience, right? And hopefully create content that was relevant, that they would, relate to. And I think we've been doing that. And I think in this journey, we've been trying to, update or do something better every time we throw out a video, right? And I think right now our goal is to sort of listen to the audience that we have right now and see what they want to hear and keep pushing it, right? So, for example, from an investing standpoint, we have a few videos there on TFSA'S, RSPs. We didn't really think that our audience was interested in learning about, for example, an RESP, but we've gotten a lot of feedback on that, and that's definitely something that we want to cover. So in terms of what's next, we want to keep doing what we're doing, keep doing what works, and just keep listening to our people and navigating based on that.
Boom.
Solid, bro.
Where can people find you? Sorry, go ahead. Well,
no, I'm very excited for you guys. I'm proud of for what you guys are doing. I think it's you're doing great work, and it's needed more than anything. The education is needed for people.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me on. Like I know that similar to your shirt right now, I know you guys are straight up hustling all the time.
Everything.
Hustle over everything. Let's get it. But yeah, so
Exactly.
thanks for having me on. I'm super appreciative. If people are looking to learn more about personal finance, looking to learn more about the corporate world, me and Steph both work for big four firms. They can find us at Steph and Den on YouTube or stephandden.com. We have a website there where we do offer free resume reviews. One of the biggest things that was tough for me was having that tailored resume and having someone who had worked at a big four firm actually review it for me, right? So that's something that we offer for free. We've got spots opening up in the next little bit. So yeah, that's what's up.
dope. And that's at stephandden.com?
That would be stephandden.com. Yeah.
Dope. Oh man, listeners, make sure you go subscribe. While you're there, subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Hustle over everything. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the hustle is what you can control. So control your grind. I control your life. This is Hustle Over Everything. Peace.
Peace out, guys.
Thank you so much for listening. The conversation continues on our Instagram at 247hustler. We post very frequently. And be sure to check out our merch at hustleovereverything.co. We have some amazing sweaters, hats, mugs, and a lot more. Lastly, our Proud to Pay program is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Talk to you next Monday. Peace.